Hello, and welcome to Comic Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. And yes, welcome indeed to our twice weekly show where we are comics who try and solve problems. We put a lot of thought into the title, and that's what we do. If you're joining us right at the start, we do like to say we're going to get into some meaty stuff going on in the world. But if you're watching us on Facebook, please hit the share button so people can see what you're watching, if you're not ashamed. You can like us on YouTube. Or is there a share button on YouTube?
You can like the video, and you can share the link.
Yeah, share it. And then we're on Twitch. If you're watching us there, thank you. If you're on other platforms that we don't like to talk about. But yeah, basically, thank you very much for joining us. We're here twice a week dealing with all of the problems in the world. We've been doing this show we're in our second season. This is our 12th episode of this season. And I think we've done a pretty good job of not solving any problems.
We've made it worse, haven't we? Look at today.
I think so. I think the world is worse, basically. Because we started the show. What was the original title of the show, Steve?
Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems.
Yep. And then we came out of quarantine. And we had to change the name because people were like, "Oh, you're not really in quarantine anymore, are you?" Yeah. And you were never technically quarantined; you were in lockdown. But yeah, that didn't sound as catchy, so we went with the lockdown thing. But we had to get rid of the lockdown thing, and so we went through a lot of hassle to rename the show to demonstrate that we weren't in lockdown anymore. And we're both based in the UK, even though I'm American. And what's the status of that?
Feels pretty locked down again. Yeah. Oh, God. Although I got to be honest, they're bringing in like lockdown 2, and jokes on them because I didn't start going out, so I'm still doing lockdown 1.
Yep. So you can send us your problems as well. We've got our Twitter handles on there. If you're on the Facebook, we try and keep an eye on the chat. The subscription thing is there. And then also because, at the moment we've both been gotten a few live gigs, but that looks like that's going to be gone. Yeah. So if you do like what we're doing, you can buy us a drink on the links. You think, oh, I'd buy those guys a drink. And it's before 10 o'clock, so it's still legally allowed.
Yep.
You can chuck us a few quid or dollars or whatever currency and denomination, because one of them, they link to different sites and you can pay by whatever currency you want.
We're big in Turkey. We're big in Turkey on D-Live. Yeah. So, yeah.
The Chinese really seem to love that TikTok. Loving my TikTok.
Yeah. And we used to talk about this all the time. This show goes through a Huawei router, so the Chinese are watching it.
You didn't tell me that.
Do you not remember when because genuinely a Huawei router that we did a thing where we got hacked. Go and watch the old sketches. They're all on YouTube. Fun time.
They're all there. So Steve, shall we clear the screen and get on with our first story?
Into the meaty business. Look, we just need to talk about what's been happening today. I don't know if you just sat there just an hour ago and watched Boris Johnson do his speech. I got a screenshot there. It might not have been the best screenshot I got. I honestly randomly pressed it and afterwards realised he's saying we should leave people to take their own risks. And the sign language woman is, I don't know what she's miming, but it's a death. Sorry, Boris.
He looks like he's holding a PlayStation controller.
Look at you trying to get the Twitch viewers all excited. PlayStation.
That's what he was doing when he had COVID.
You got any main take on? I watched it and there was nothing said of interest because it had all been said earlier in the day. So I feel like I didn't need to watch it.
Well, we both sort of set aside. We thought, with the first part of our show, we would just scrap everything and just talk about that, and that was just sort of be on. Pubs closing at 10. You think that's going to do anything to stop the spread of the virus?
I don't know. Maybe not. Look, we as a nation, not that long ago, used to have pubs close at 11 and we were still the pissheads of Europe. So it feels like if that's a challenge, is a challenge accepted and one that we will rise to.
Yeah. I was explaining this to a member of the younger generation the other day who I was like, what drinking up time was like. And he's like, I don't know what you mean. It's, now they just go to the next pub that's still open. And I was like, well, no, I had a 9-to-5 job back then. And so at 10:45, they'd ring the bell for last orders. And then whoever got that last round in was kind of screwed because they had to get 2 drinks for everyone.
Yep.
And then you would drink those 2 pints. Back then I was on the Guinness as well. And so you drink 2 Guinness, Guineas. Yeah, 2 Guineas. Before about 10:11. Because it was so early, because I was, about 20 years younger, I used to be able to go to work the next day. And my work didn't suffer at all. I got fired, But
But your standard didn't
that was
drop.
my choice. I demanded. But so yeah, we are moving it forward to 10. I mean, they're just doing all this to keep as much money going into the economy as they can. They're desperate not to have the children come home from school too early because, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I did see that they're enforcing the rule of six. They're breaking it up, the rule of six for children. So children under 12, there can be more than 6 of them. But my daughter is 14. So in her age range, they are subject to the rule of 6. Now, she has a really tight circle of friends, but there are 7 of them. But not for much longer.
Oh, no. Who gets voted off?
It's the Lord of the Flies among the girls. One of them has to go. And I think it's going to be Susie.
Yeah. It's always going to be Susie.
It's always Susie.
Dead wood. You got to trim the dead wood. This is serious. This is lockdown too.
Yeah.
And there's something like in Scotland, they've changed it so that they're not sticking to the rule of 3 in the house. Because at the moment, you get kicked out of the pub at 10 from Thursday onwards. So you got to go to the off license on the way back to someone's house and drink in the same number of people, but indoors. And you're allowed to do it as long as it's fewer than 6 in your group.
Yeah.
But in Scotland, you're not allowed to do that.
Yes, that's right. In Scotland, you were no longer allowed to go to another person's household, which I would think that's a dream environment for you, Steve. I know how much you love to have people around.
Yeah.
How long have you lived in your current flat?
4 years now.
And we've worked together kind of as doing different various comedy shows, as comedy partners, as it were, for about 10 years. And how many times have I been around, Steve?
It's less than 1.
That was pre-pandemic, wasn't it? Yeah. That was before any of this.
A lot of people have said, like, when they're bringing all these rules about the rule of 6 and the curfew things, and my honest response has been, I don't mind. I'm a misanthropic introvert. So this is manna from heaven for me. Oh, we've got to go because it's 10 o'clock. Bye. So I'm absolutely fine with it, but it's a different issue. Yeah.
Yeah. So Scotland's taken a little bit differently. It's almost like they're like independent from us practically.
Yeah. What is good though, they've also brought in the rule that you can't basically give a lift to someone. Thank you. That would be another thing that you could add to my dream version. Can you give us a lift? COVID.
Yeah. So we both miss working on the comedy circuit, but one of the things that happens on the comedy circuit is that you sometimes have to give a lift to other comedians, and you don't always get to choose who those other comedians might be.
Yeah. I mean, if they told you who was on the lineup beforehand, I wouldn't take some of the gigs.
It's like, oh, yeah, I'll take that gig. Yeah, it's a long drive, but I can handle it. I got some podcasts to listen to. I got the radio, maybe make a phone call legally with hands-free. And they go, oh, yeah, Stinky McGee over there is going to come with you. Oh, you mean the guy that doesn't bathe and has bad breath and whisper talks, so he kind of leans in the entire drive and chain smokes whenever we break? Yeah, okay, yeah, I'd love to spend my time with that jackass. I miss the circuit.
Yeah.
I would take that. I would almost take that.
Well, I'd probably still take the work, but I hate it. Right. So, so there's that side of it. Anyone, if you're in the message boards, we've got some messages coming through. Gerard's tweeted us with a nice picture. I think it's a picture mocking me for my misanthropic introverted status.
Okay.
Which I'm fine with. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You can tell I don't need the approval of others. Thanks for that. That's the benefit of not needing people. But you can keep some messages coming through. There's a couple of bits that I wanted to play from earlier in the day, if I might, about the change of rules that we're going through. So
sure.
One of the things we saw earlier on the topic of new lockdown, Gove was giving us some news.
There is going to be a shift in emphasis, and one of the things that we are going to emphasise is that if it is possible for people to work from home, then we'd encourage them to do so.
Shift in emphasis.
Okay.
From, let's remember this headline, from get back to work, otherwise you won't have a job anymore, to we're just going to shift a little emphasis to don't go back to work, please. That's not a shift. That's like someone saying, but you said we'd be together forever, darling. Well, there's been a slight shift of emphasis. That's not a shift. I tell you what, Michael Gove, if you're listening, and I know you're a big fan, what you've done there is another U-turn. That's what it is. I can't wait for the day when you put on Sky News and see an interview with an MP saying,
Yes, I was driving in the ministerial car when I realised I was heading in the wrong direction. So I pulled on the handbrake so as to facilitate a slight change in emphasis, namely from heading in the flow of traffic on the M4 to going against it. Slight change in emphasis.
Slight change in emphasis. Actually, while we're taking the mickey out of MPs, just as a brief side note, a totally different story, really, but there's the Tory MP who was on the train coming in from Berkshire. He's a Wiltshire MP, and he didn't have his mask on. He's got in trouble. In his defence, look, we can only see what we can see in that picture, and he might have been told you have to wear a mask over the part of you that you talk out of. So there is a strong chance that actually he didn't do anything wrong at all. But that's a side issue. So back to what Gove was saying. He gave us some more information.
It will be the case that hospitality venues will remain open, but we're just making it clear that it's table service only and closing at 10.
So on that topic of closing at 10, will it make a difference? Will people get the pints in earlier? But then again, I suppose it stops you having the messy part of the evening in the pub, the bit where you're a few pints in, it's after 10 o'clock, someone plays House of Pain Jump Around and things get pretty messy. And you're right, I did base all of my references on the 90s and not been out lately. But I've come up with a scenario where the 10 o'clock curfew might actually stop someone getting coronavirus if it goes like this.
Right, darling, another pint, please.
They'll let anyone in here these days.
Well, look who it is. Come here, you daft sod. Give us a hug. Come here. Oh, sorry, mate. It's 10 o'clock.
If that happens, we're saving lives. Special effects. Hey,
Nice.
He's got some special effects on it. But so my problem is because of the misanthropic, introverted nature. I think the big problem, the reason why I'm upset that we're having to go through this today, the reason I'm bothered that we're back in lockdown 2 with being told to get back to work. Oh, they said stay. I didn't want to work from home in the first place. They made us work from home. Then they say get back to work, risk your life, make sure our pensions are fine, get yourself a Pret sandwich on the way, and you get back to work, otherwise you're fired. Then we go back to work, and then they say don't go back to work, work from home. And you know, I don't even know why I'm angry because I don't have any work. So I don't know why it bothers me, but I'm just annoyed because we're back in lockdown 2 because of one type of person, huggers. You dirty bastards. I've noticed recently people breaking the rule, and it's one of the first rules to go. People feel so entitled to a hug. Oh, should we have a hug? No, there's coronavirus going around. Now, I don't want to hug people anyway, and normally, if you try and say no to a hug, basically, you either, if someone goes in for a hug, you've got to go along with it, or if you try and fight back against it, you're the villain. That's been my entire life of being touched by people I don't want. But now, when people try and give you a hug, what happens is you can go, oh, COVID. And for this brief period of history, I get to have the moral high ground. Yes. So that's sorting out the huggers. By the way, I've made a top list of the worst offenders in the COVID era. There it is. There are all the worst offenders. Right at the top, huggers. Huggers are the worst. They're the ones spreading this dirty disease by touching and getting their face very close to other people's faces. Number 2 on the list, swingers. Number 3 on the list, doggers. Interesting point that. Doggers are definitely not as bad as swingers because they do it outdoors.
All right, fair enough.
Number 4, coughers. Cover your mouth, you dirty gits. Handshakers, like a hugger, but at least there's a bit of distance. And then at number 6, anti-maskers. And I know what you're thinking, Steve, why do you put anti-maskers so low? They're not wearing a mask. They're protesting to not wear a mask. Yeah, but have you seen them? No one wants to go near them anyway. So that's the top list. And if you are a hugger, stop being a bloody hugger. You caused this mess. That's my angry.
Is that where it came from?
Yeah.
Someone hugged a bat?
Hey, look, it's extroverts cause this. If the world were populated by introverts, poor old viruses would be like, I had nowhere to go, man. He didn't leave the house for a week.
There wouldn't be that species hopping. Yeah. Because you say you introverts don't, do things with the other.
I don't go near a bat or a pig, if that's what we're talking about. That's all right. Keep the messages coming through. Oh, by the way, I did set it up so that we can go to message board cam. If you watched our Friday chit chat, message board cam's over here. Trouble is, I set it up in daylight and it can't do what I've done with the lighting. So you ready for message board cam when I go and look at the messages?
This is new. I'm excited about this. I didn't even know about this.
Look at the state of that contrast. Whoa. I'm like a villain in Sin City. Look at the colouring on that. But anyway, this is the computer with the messages on. And
all right, cool.
The other thing, before we read out some messages, I wanted to show you this, Eric. We also talked in one of the Friday shows how this camera is now, you can't see it because it's so small. It's a screen that shows you this setup from reverse.
What?
It is. It's really tiny. And if I cover the bald patch, we can actually activate it. There it is. Look. Hello. It's the reverse cam. Look at all the fans and lights and laptops we've got on it. 3 laptops and a S-ton of lights.
You've got 3 cameras.
3 cameras, yeah. There's side cam.
Are you doing stuff on OnlyFans as well when we're not doing this show?
It's not a bad idea. Look at that. You do have to cover the bald patch though, because otherwise there's more screen glare than just those lights.
Just that patch. Okay,
yeah.
fair enough. All right.
Let's do some messages, shall we?
Let's check some messages. I think we put up the subscription link already, so please, we appreciate, if you can give us a drink, that's a nice thing as well. But otherwise, if you just want to tell people about the show and subscribe to the channel, we've had a flood of messages here. Where would we even begin, Steve?
Paul, hello, Paul B says, hi, everyone. Hi. Mark says, good
Paul.
evening. Sorry I missed last Tuesday. It was a humdinger of a show. It's still on our YouTube thingy. Let's have a look. Ellie, hey there. I've struggled to keep up. Post-ward life for me, good, but changed nonetheless. So, okay, well, I guess, it's good to have you back. I'm glad you're back with us, watching the show.
Mark does not believe that I've been around no times at all.
Yeah.
That's true, Mark.
No,
we don't lie here.
I'm not around it.
We did, to be fair, we did live together in the Edinburgh Fringe. So, we shared a place, but it was neutral territory. It was not Steve's man cave.
Yeah.
So very few people have seen it.
I feel quite violated giving you this view. That's a lot.
That is more I've seen of your flat. I've heard about the 2 bathrooms. You've gone on about that since you've got that TV career. 2 bathrooms.
There's a camera in each one of those as well.
That's why I don't come around.
Couldn't you let Eric in the West Wing? No, the West Wing is not available for other people. That is where we find a lot of cameras.
It's a private space.
Eric's probably been around more times than that, but Steve's blackout curtains work to treat. You turn the lights off, you pretend you're not in. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's what it is. I bang. I don't give up. I keep going around.
Well, you've got other messages there. Chris says, information fresh from the government's own groundworks division. It specialises in moving goalposts.
Nice. Yeah, I guess if people, it'd be interesting in the chat if you want to tell us if you are excited about these new lockdown provisions, if they're going to change what you do at all. I have a feeling it's basically going to kill the comedy industry soon because, I've got gigs this weekend. I don't know about you, but they'd already moved them forward to end before 9 o'clock. But it's just a matter of time. I don't know why they would not want us together with a bunch of strangers laughing and coughing in a contained space for 2 hours.
But the strange thing is, I think I should be allowed out. I should be allowed a little pass because I am such a distance myself from other people, don't like people, introvert, that actually I'm not going to go near anyone to catch anything. Plus, I've still got some antibodies at the yin yang, so I'm like your best. I'm the one guy who should be allowed out on a mission.
Okay, so there's like we said, sometimes you get booked for a gig because you can drive the other comedians there. You can get booked at a gig because you're COVID. There you go. So how'd you get in the never mind.
Yeah, well, it's not my fault. Ellie's watching on TV. Yes, if you watch this on the YouTube, you can sling it to your TV. We'll get through more of these motions coming at some point. More of these messages as well coming at some point. But wherever you're watching it, and you can send us some Twitter things as well. Our Twitter job is right there.
Yes, please do that. And right. Well, here's the problem. It sounds like this is going to be a problem about what we've just talked about. But we've got a problem here. What do you do with cities who don't do what they're told? Now, this goes beyond COVID-19 or other things that you might be thinking about, because this goes to America, where there's a number of cities that have been having sustained protests about Black Lives Matter. And some of those protests have tipped into riots, which are not helpful for the cause, not helpful for the community, and are, not part of the mission of what they're trying to do when they raise real concerns about the issues of Black Americans, especially in the United States of America. Now, this is technically a local issue in the U.S., local policing and that kind of thing, but it really winds up Donald Trump. Just doesn't like it. Doesn't like it because he's a racist, but also he likes to play his law and order card. So he's decided for a number of places around the U.S. that aren't behaving the way he wants them to, that he's decided to call them anarchist jurisdictions.
What?
And it's hard for me to say, so I'd imagine it's hard for him to say.
He can't even say United States, so he's screwed.
Yeah. We got the headline here. He's designated 3 cities in the U.S., New York, Portland, and Seattle, as anarchist jurisdictions. Now, we can talk about whether or not I agree with his designation of these cities. I don't. I think that people have a right to peacefully protest, and if they cross the line, there's plenty of local authorities that can deal with that. But the other problem I have with this is, other than struggling to say jurisdictions, is that I don't think I have dyslexia, but every time I see the word anarchist, in my head, I always have to take a second look because, put the headline back, please. Doesn't that look like Antichrist? When you look at that, you're like, what? Antichrist jurisdictions? I know things are bad. I know Trump is he's like Damien. But is it that bad? And I thought, all right, well, let's have a look. He's designated these 3 cities. Let's see how, is it as awful as that? Is it gone to the Antichrist level? Here's a shot from New York just yesterday. Okay. Maybe that is something that needs to be dealt with. That does look a little bit concerning. All right, well, let's go to the other side of the country. Let's look at Portland. Just outside Portland there, driving into town. Okay, maybe that's not good. And my hometown is on that list. Let's look at Seattle.
What'd you wish for?
Which one were you?
Oh, God, what do you wish for? I wish it would stop. Look at all the pink and the young girls. Make it stop. Make it stop. Oh, that is hell.
Yeah, I know out of the 3 which I'd rather be, and I'd be thirsty trying to get into Portland.
And you'll notice with that bit, Steve, it's basically the same joke 3 times.
Oh, good. Hey, recycling. Well,
I was under time pressure today, so set him up, knock it down. Rule of 3, not the rule of 6.
We got to do what you can. Right, any messages on this coming in as well? Let's have a look. Mark Randall says, Steve's gone Trump. What, in my opinions? Or is this because the that cam...
Or is it because you're trying to do a comb over?
It's that. There's no comb over. It's a handover. There we go. No one can see the bald spot.
Get some hamster hair.
If I could afford it. Gerard says it's a 1960s camera. Well, it is. Yeah, we're playing with cameras too much, but yes, it is. Paul B says, problem, my hawk has blunt talons. How do I solve it? You probably want to sharpen them.
Sharpen them. Get a little. What you can use if you don't have a sharpener. Get yourself one of these nice corkscrews. That's got the knife that you normally use to undo the bottle. Yeah. Just on the nails.
Are you trying to flog stuff from your office again? This is not the first time he's done that.
Paul, drop it if it's for sale. I'll sign it as an autographed thing.
Yeah. And he normally signs it to someone else. Signs it Babe Ruth, like everything else he signs.
I do. Yeah. I don't know where the Babe ball's in.
Mara Randall says doggers are a risk if they don't wind their windows up. Okay, good point. Yeah, it's a health and safety issue. And Ellie says, I love lists, but I also love hugs. Oh dear, it's a difficult one, but I still blame all of the huggers.
All the huggers.
Yeah.
Time for the rabbit skin hat, Steve. Have you got a rabbit skin hat?
Do you reckon that would cover the thing? Seattle video got Ellie laughing by the look of it. It was a birthday cake or maybe a gender reveal cake. Dear, we covered those. Gender reveals.
We covered that in a previous episode if you want to learn about gender reveal parties that started a massive forest fire in the United States and are also one of the stupidest things anyone's ever done. Yeah. Except for my nephew. It was lovely. In case my sister's watching, we really enjoyed yours.
Beautiful. Right, so you can keep the messages coming through. It's busy on the message board today. Just taking the Twitter things off, but you can tweet us there as well. Here's a problem for you. Given that we have to work at home, how are we going to keep the economy going?
Okay.
It's broadband. Because, look, thankfully, we are doing this show at a time when if we tried to do this 7 years ago, we wouldn't have anywhere near this level of tech, right? And 7 years ago, that was my main phone. So actually, the entire thing would have been just that over there. Thankfully it's good, and it's going to get to the stage where maybe the government needs to start thinking about giving people access to better broadband. This is one of those where neither of us were particularly Corbyn fans, but the whole idea of giving people free broadband looked like the stupidest thing at the end of last year, but now everyone's at home working on Skype. It's a bit like oh yeah, that could be quite handy. There is an issue with your local service. I've recently upgraded so that we can broadcast this through the Huawei router. You've got some good broadband where you are, I know that. Yeah. Bad news for one place in Wales, a small village where they have been having broadband outages for 18 months. Turns out it was some bloke's old TV. So every morning they get up, they put the internet on, because I think that's how it works. And at 7 o'clock, all of a sudden, your speeds would be terrible. They couldn't connect to anything. And after trying to work out what it was, eventually they found some bloke had an old telly. When he put it on, it was kicking out this shine radiation, they call it, and it was knocking out the broadband. Which, I mean, it's a cutesy little story about a small village, but also, if your TV is producing enough radiation to knock out a satellite, he must have been baking there. He must be the... Is it Tom Jones, like the only man with a tan in Wales? Is that what's happening? Unbelievable. So it's old kit. Apparently, can interfere with it. It's quite a cute thing, and to find out more on the cutesy angle, we're actually joined by the man himself now.
Hello, Steve.
Oh, it's a bit strange then, isn't it, that all this has been happening?
Oh, it's not that strange. We're only a small village. If Mr. Thomas at number 5 runs a bath, none of us have water pressure. Oh. We're so small, we only have a few deliveries, see? So we have to take turns as to who gets to fill up the tank of petrol and who gets fresh fruit.
And how do you work out who gets what?
I've seen some of my neighbours doing something with a fruit bowl and car keys. I suppose that's what they're doing.
Anyway, look, it's just strange that your TV managed to do it.
Aye, who would have thought this little TV here could ruin the internet? Yeah. I'll turn it on so you can see. It's only small, mind.
No, don't turn it on. No, because I suppose we should have seen that punchline coming.
Yeah.
There we go. Acting.
That's brilliant. I mean, I love that story because it's got that little Welsh village thing, a very nice accent, and it's not xenophobic for you to do that because you are, how much Welsh?
1/32. That's the fraction.
There you go. And it's just so quaint. It reminded me of the Hugh Grant film, you know, the Englishman who went up a hill and came down a mountain, because you just get this sense of them going through and the big mystery of, you know, and I remember good old TVs that had and they would come on and they would warm up, and they would take time for them to heat up.
Those are the days. Do you know what? It is? Let's have a look. Stephen, it seems we're messaging. Let's put the things on. Stephen Leatherdale on Twitter says, was that old phone part of your Twitter profile at some stage in the past? I think it was, actually. Yeah, good.
Speaking of old phones with cameras, I found in one of my old hard drives the original videos I had on the very first phone that had a camera on it, and it's a video of me passing the camera around the group of friends and explaining to them that it was making a video right now, and they're like, "What? You mean there's a video like it right now? There's a camera in your phone?" I was like, "I know, isn't it cool?" I mean, and the resolution is horrific, but that's just what that shows us is how much the technology has changed and how old I am.
Yeah, the technology's changed, but it's not improved over here on the comment cam, which is not actually officially used in its main capacity.
I like it. It's rustic.
Yeah,
it's a rustic for you, Steve. Right? Is there anything? So, do you subscribe to the channel? Let's put that up there. If you're watching and want to spread the word about us, if you enjoy us, and also if you like what we're doing, you can chuck us a drink as well. Let's see, what have we had come through here?
Yeah, Ellie's saying congratulations to you. She watched the episode where we covered gender revealed. Congratulations on your new nephew.
Thank you very much. Yes, it's very exciting, and I need to be. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's going to be a brand new American, which is what the world really needs.
Yeah, that's more of you. That's going well. It looks like Richie says, looking forward to the new show. Well done, guys. Wash hands. Some nice messages coming through. So you can keep up to date, and the things on there with the Twitter, so you can be messaging us on Twitter as well.
Very good stuff. And we've got another problem, and this one is coming from the U.S. again. How do you show your base or the people you want to vote for you that you're as conservative when Donald Trump is president? How do you prove that when Donald Trump has taken things to such an extreme? And we've got Senator Kelly Loeffler. She is running for re-election in the U.S. and I believe Georgia. And this is how she's going to demonstrate how conservative she is.
Did you know Kelly Loeffler was ranked the most conservative senator in America?
It's pretty conservative, if you think about how conservative America is, especially compared to much of the world. But does that mean she's conservative on taxes? Does that mean she's conservative on social issues? I guess the question is, how conservative is conservative, Steve? And in this ad, she has an answer.
Yep, she's more conservative than Attila the Hun.
Wait, what? this is an ad commissioned by Kelly. Okay, so that's quite a statement, isn't it? Would you say, being as conservative as
Normally not
Attila
a
the Hun?
compliment, yeah.
Yeah, what I love is the look of the woman's face when the man, how happy she is. She doesn't react like, what the fuck did you just say? She's like, yeah, I know. Isn't it great? It's fantastic. She's like, I just love a politician for the 21st century that is in line with a 5th century warlord. That's exactly what I'm looking for in the state of Georgia.
Is that newspaper upside down as well? She looks like a right treat.
She's a Trump supporter, so she probably can't read. Sorry, it's a dig. It's a dig.
It's a good one.
I mean, it's true, but it's a dig. But I mean, I guess that sounds about right for America, the way it is in some parts. Kelly took it the next step forward. They shouldn't just have these two random people sitting on sofas, word for it. They've got the actual Hun himself.
Fight China. Got it. Attack big government.
Yeah. Eliminate the liberal scribes.
More conservative than Attila the Hun.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, indeed,
Wow.
Steve. Uh-oh, indeed. Because not only is that pretty conservative, it's also pretty racist. Because that's the way they talked back then, the Huns. That's what the foreigners sound like, isn't it? When you... just someone from Newcastle. I don't know. Just picked a place. I like whatever. I like it. Not only is she saying, like, how conservative am I? At the end of it there, that's that little dig, right, at the liberal scribes. That's, meant to be the media.
Yeah.
That's what that's implying there, because the real enemy of the people, the scribes.
The scribes.
Very subtle. That's terrifying, isn't it? Do you think?
Yeah.
Can you imagine an ad like that? It would be amazing to see ads like that here. But Kelly did take it a step further, and she actually managed to get a picture of herself with Attila the Hun. There it is. Donald Trump wishes he was Attila the Hun. I mean, to be fair, Attila the Hun, went across the world conquering things and having lots of children. So,
yeah, okay, that's a lot in there. Do you think when she sees people on Facebook messaging things like "You okay, hun?" is she getting the wrong end of the stick? That's what it is.
I'm all right. Attila. I'm just Attila. I love American political ads. You know that. They're gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that gets broadcast in to try and make people vote, as if that would work. Unbelievable. I guess it does. Mark on the message board says also cares less about childcare than King Herod. Good. Yep. The thing is, Mark, if you sent them that message, they'd probably commission you as a writer for their next ad. You could make some sweet dollar out of that.
Yeah. To be fair, a lot of American political guides usually have them blowing up stuff. So this is a step in the right direction. It's racist without guns.
Yeah,
so,
there you go. That's just conquering without the actual exploding. Nice.
That's what they sound like.
Trump looks like he's waiting for his denture fix to work with that smile. Let's bring it back. Look at that. He must have. Has he got false teeth? Because I think that's why he can't say United States.
Yes. They say that's it is. It's either that or the Strokes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of their music. I like their first album.
I almost get that musical reference.
Wow. Do you know what? There was a Keith emailed us, and you can email as well if you find the email somewhere. Send messages with a question about music that one should have during lockdown. We'll do that on Thursday's show. We can keep that just going in the message boards where you can suggest COVID songs. So
nice.
We get that in there early doors. Nice. I think we're all caught up with the messages as well. Are we all caught up with the news?
Okay. Yeah. Mark has got one in there last minute. Cares less about Mexicans than the conquistadors. Conquistadors?
Yeah. Well, there were good people on both sides.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're caught up on the news. We're going to be. Do you think we're going to have to rebrand back to Comics in Quarantine? What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
I hope not, because it took me flipping forever to change these things. So
Comics back in quarantine, solving problems until the next unlockdown. In which case, we just keep adding to the title every time things change.
I should have saved the profile before, but now I've changed it. I've been too busy editing, getting this to work. There you go.
Should be focused on the name change.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll get that on.
There we go. I mean, we're here every Tuesday and Thursday at 9:00 in the UK or whatever time it is. We got a time change coming up as well. That's gonna happen soon.
Oh, because the clocks go back. Oh, nuts!
Okay.
Yeah. So
we have already done that. We haven't done that yet.
No, we've not done that yet. But that means we'll stop saying BST. Okay, so we might lose the odd international viewer for a few weeks because we don't all change at the same time, do we?
Nope.
Yeah.
We change before the U.S. So we'll be an hour closer to America soon.
Oh, God, I can feel the terror already. I can feel the Trump breathing down my neck, which also works in English.
It does.
Yeah, so we're back. If you've enjoyed, we should put this one up. If you've enjoyed the show, you can hopefully find a link somewhere near where we've got this stream going out. Chuck some money in our pot. We always say it like this. If you've enjoyed it, if this was a live show and you had a nice little chit-chat time at the end of it, quite often, because we've done shows like this together in London, in Edinburgh, people come up and go, oh, I was enjoyed that. Can I buy you a drink?
Yes.
You're not legally allowed to, so if you can chuck that money in the pot, that would keep us afloat.
And there was someone who actually pre-purchased tickets to the show, drinks to the show, so thank you in advance for doing that.
Thank you.
You could do that again because it's a totally different show every time, isn't it?
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
We haven't,
I mean, I imagine on Thursday's show we probably will be talking about coronavirus again, so don't get your hopes up that will be
Trump
our news.
again.
There might be some
And the topical story that is Attila the Hun and the tragedy as he moves his way across China.
Brilliant. But other than that, the show will be available to watch online for a good long while. You can send that link to anyone, and also if you have Amazon Prime, I think we should start plugging this up.
Yeah, we are on the Prime.
Search for Comic Solving Problems on Amazon Prime. And look at that. And on D Live, Vortex just says hello. We're just about to finish the show. Oh, where were you, Vortex? We should have had you here half an hour ago.
Well, catch us, Vortex, if you want to watch the show, it'll be up next week on Amazon Prime. It'll be on there. So check us out on there. There's one episode up already, and there'll be more coming soon.
Yeah. And even if you've seen it, just let it play in the background with mute on because we get paid for it.
Give it 5 stars.
You give it 5 stars. That would be appreciated. Other than that, I think we're all done and dusted. Till next time.
See you later. Bye.